What's up? What's up? Peace and blessings, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good this wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Let's hold on, y'all. Um, we're just gonna talk. We're gonna have a little bit of a conversation about thoughts into action, um, and really just share with you all um, some things that I'm seeing, some things that I'm observing, and more importantly, really just want to, as I always do, want to inspire us to believe in ourselves, believe in the gifts that we've been given, but more importantly, encourage us not to second guess ourselves. Right now, there's that's a generalization, right? And so there's pieces of work that we have to do in order for us to be able to trust ourselves enough to bring our thoughts into action, right? We don't want to bring every thought into action. Lord knows we don't. But those good thoughts, those ideas, those business ideas, those concepts and world changing thoughts, we definitely want to bring those into action, right? And sometimes there's barriers and things that are in our way that prevent us from being able to do that. Okay. So um, I'm always about self reflection, self audit, making sure you're asking yourself questions, um, deliberating with yourself, right? Just making sure that you're having a conversation with your mind, yourself, in order for you to understand your pitfalls, your flaws, your weaknesses, your areas of growth, like all of those things. If you're not having a conversation with yourself and you only wait for other people to point it out to you, then you really not growing. And not only are you not growing, you're probably that same individual that has a hard time bringing thoughts into action. Okay, so yeah, we gonna talk about it. All right, so a couple things that I want to just share real quick. If you haven't purchased my book, please go purchase it. Yes, for me, but also for you. So the book itself, The Art of Living, um is my first kind of edition uh, of putting my thoughts to paper, right? Perfect example. Um, but I've studied many religions, right? I've studied um, different religions, philosophies. I ascribe to Islam, but I've studied different thinking, philosophies, um, belief systems, all of those things. And I have found that there's kind of three principles, core principles that I find in every religion, every philosophy, every branch of study, right? And I sum them up as knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay. So, and I love threes, right? So anything of three is always good with me. But knowledge being the information that you receive, right? So there's a level of receiving information. Step two, wisdom. So once you receive the information, now you need to apply the knowledge, right? So once you receive the information, you're going to apply it. That's what I call the wisdom part of it. Um, and then from the wisdom stage, then you move into understanding, because once you've tried to apply it, you're gonna get some data, right? You're gonna know whether or not this worked, didn't work, or I should do this differently next time, or maybe this makes sense, right? So then you get the understanding. So those are the three like core principles that I believe that everyone, no matter what religion, what thinking, wherever you're going in the world mentally, um, those are the three key principles that everybody has to grasp and understand: knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay, so that's the Trinity. That's what I believe is the universal principles of life. Um, and so that's in my book, and I talk about it. And I also talk about, I share a little personal stories and testimony of what I've gone through um, to arrive kind of to that thinking. But more importantly, I pose questions in the book, and this is, I think, probably the what I think is the best part in the book is because I put questions in there for you to begin to ask yourself for each of those stages. So the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding stages. There's questions in there that you can ask yourself. Great questions for discussions, questions that you can ask your family members, your children. Um, and it's going to be great for table conversation. So get your hands on a copy of the book, The Art of Living. There's only about 8 left, and I don't know if I'm gonna print more. I may print more, or may just wait for my next book that comes out. So I haven't decided yet. So you want to act fast and get your copy. Of course, every book is signed. I do a signed copy. Um, and it comes with a free gift from Traveling Pillar. So go to the website, get the book, and I got you. All right. So that's the one piece I want to get out the way. Secondly, there's so much going on in this world. Everybody has been, I don't want to say everybody, but there's a lot of people that have been paying attention to the news. They've been paying attention to the name change of Facebook by Mark Zuckerberg. Um, and I find it very interesting, um, but also profound that one of my virtual mentors, 19 Keys, had posted his logo of Infinite Wealth Strategies and the Facebook logo of Meta. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up. So I'm gonna talk through it real quick. But one of the things that's pretty amazing is that it's the infinity symbol, right? Of course, Zuckerberg did a little play on it, but it's still the infinity symbol. Here we go. Let me share my screen real quick. I'll share this with you all. Um, okay, so I think you all can see my screen. Maybe not. Huh, I guess not. What? Chrome has lost permission. Well, what I was going to show y'all is if you go to 19 Keys Facebook page, you will see that he has oh, here we go. Okay. Yep. So you see this? So this was uh him speaking in Dubai. And then here's Zuckerberg's symbol. So just wanted to show that to y'all so you can see this. He actually wrote here. So 19 Keys speaking in Dubai at the blockchain conference, um, so forth. So very interesting, I would say. Very interesting. I'll leave it at that. But why do I want to bring this up? Why am I sharing this? Okay. I'm sharing this because um, I get my information, my guidance um, from 19 Keys. Okay. So the reality is that I don't know any of this on my own, right? I know none of this on my own. Um, and I'm very clear that in order for you in life to grow and evolve, you have to have a teacher. And in order for you to have a teacher, you have to be willing to be a student. And a student has to be willing to study. So I do not have, nor have I put in the same amount of time that someone like 19 Keys has around cryptocurrency, tokenomics, blockchain, any of that. And so the best way that any of us can get in the game is to study or learn from someone who's in the game. So it's not um we shouldn't shy away from being a student, right? We shouldn't shy away from studying and learning from someone. Okay. So like people that are like, well, he's just a man and I can great. Yes, he's a man who has studied. He's a God who has studied, and I'm gonna sit up under him to learn what he knows. Because even in all of his study and how he relays information, we also have to do our own research. So for me, all of my crypto, all of my financial understanding, any of that comes from 19 Keys and Chris Cole. Okay. So back to the uh infinite symbol, right? Infinity symbol. So Facebook decides to change the name. Okay. What Mark Zuckerberg is showing you all and showing us is that he understands the value of the metaverse, right? Metaverse being the new, not, it's not even new. The I like to call it augmented reality, right? It's the mind world. Okay. So he sees value, he understands NFTs, all of this stuff is next level. And so he's like, all right, well, let me position myself, my business, to be ready for the next, you know, 20 to 30 years. So what I'm seeing though with this is that many of us, because we don't understand, um, because we haven't taken the time to understand crypto or NFT or any of this digital stuff, because we haven't sat down, right? Sat ourselves down long enough to study this stuff. We think a move like Zuckerberg just did is like some other, like something just, oh, he's just playing around or something. We don't understand that that's a power move, right? People are like, well, Facebook is getting sued and he had to switch names. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know all that. What I do know is that he just made a power move, right? Because he sees value in this metaverse world. Now, period. I'm gonna just move to something else. If you've been listening to any of, I've said 19 Keys already. There's a couple other ones. Chicago Crypto Bully, I think is the brother's name. I'm gonna read off all the ones that I follow because again, I don't know this stuff by myself, right? But I can direct y'all and show y'all who I listen to. Yeah. Chicago Crypto Block Bully. Check him out. 19 Keys. Jared T. Ross. Who else? People be like, why are you giving me shout outs? Did they pay you? No, they didn't pay me. I'm just telling y'all and sharing with y'all how I've been able to just have a toe in the game, have like my toenail and maybe my fingernail in the game because I'm listening to them because they know more than I do, right? Blue Pill is another one, and his brother Red Pill. Chris Cole, and let's see, Brother Truth is another one. All right. So those are names that I would highly suggest that y'all go follow them on Instagram, take some of their courses, begin to absorb the knowledge that is new to all of us, right? But if we don't start now, then we not only are we going to be left behind, generations after generations after generations will be left behind because we're playing in a three-dimensional world, and this new world is multi-layered dimensional. Okay, that's why, man, I could go so far, but that's why sacred geometry is so key. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta study sacred geometry, learning how to expand out of the second and third dimensional world in your thoughts and being able to go to the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensions in your mind, right? You like this is next level. Excuse me. This is next level. This is this is where when everybody says um metaphysics and meditation and the science of the mind and the power of the mind gets real spooky and we stop listening. Like this is that part. This is that part where we're like, oh, maybe it's witchcraft and voodoo. Or maybe this, no, it's actually all up in the Bible if you knew what you were reading. When Jesus says, when it says in the Bible, let this mind be in you, like it is in Christ Jesus, or something of that nature. I'm paraphrasing the King James or the New Version Bible. But basically, let this mind be in you, right? What mind? It was talking about the mind of Christ. Well, who is Christ? What was his mind? The mind of God. So if we're talking about getting into the mind of God, then that's letting you know right now it's not this table, it's not the physical, it's not the finite piece, it's the mind, right? So if I gotta switch my mind to be in line with the creator. I'm about to give a word now, y'all. Hold on. Let me get some water because it's coming. I feel it. If I have to align my mind to be one with the creator, align my mind to be one with Christ, then what type of environment, what type of setting, what type of information, what type of discipline, what does that look like in order for me to align my mind with the creator in Christ? Great question, right? What do we have to do, right? Now it's in the Bible. Now, we talking about how the Bible talks about picking up your cross, denying yourself, right? Um, taking care of the poor, right? Talks about mm, 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 prayer. Talks about uh, do unto others as you wish should be done unto you, right? We got a whole way of practice, a whole way of being that's in scripture. I'm just referring to the Bible. I ain't even touching the other books yet. But in the scripture, the Bible, there's a whole description of how we have to be, right? How we should be, how the righteous should be. Well, that's a way of life, right? And in order for us to have our mind, I'm coming back to the mind, in order for us to have our mind aligned with Christ or the creator, then there's a certain way that we have to live. Mm. There's a certain way we have to live in order for that mind to align, right? All right. So, Imani, you talking about Jesus and God? Man, I'm not even cool. Don't even talk about the religion part and the God part. Let's just talk about studying a topic or a discipline, right? In order for us to learn something, to understand why in the world Mark Zuckerberg changed his name of his business that's has already taken over the world. In order for us to understand that, we have to ask ourselves, are we aligning ourselves with this new way of life? Now, you can say this is conspiracy. I don't want to be a part of this. I get it. But as we are taught, for every um, for every action, there's a reaction, but also for everything that happens in the world, right, is either by Allah's permission or his active permission. He either is allowing it to happen or he's actively making it happen. Either way, it's all in the hands of the creator, right? So the point being, yeah, we can see that Facebook changed the name and this metaverse and all this cryptocurrency and this is a whole new world and I don't really know what it means. So I'm just not going to engage with it because I think it's part of something else. That's one perspective to have, and you'll be lost. Another perspective is to say, what's happening with society? What's the shift? And where can I find this shift in scripture? But not only where can I find it in the scripture, where can I see that this shift was already foretold? And how do I make sure that I secure some benefit for myself, but make sure that my family is prepared for the shift? All right. So now let me present this to y'all. We know, I don't care what city you're in, what state you're in, we know that society, the oppressed, the poor, the downtrodden, the worst of the worst, right? Can't take it anymore. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches that you have to have 100% dissatisfaction for change to take place. I would argue that the majority of the people are 100% dissatisfied. Maybe not, maybe not dissatisfied for the same reasons, because like what I'm dissatisfied with, you may not be dissatisfied with, but you may be dissatisfied. Does that make sense? So, in order for us to have a shift in society, humanity, we have to have dissatisfaction. I would like to present or just say and offer that I believe that we're at that stage in our history. So when you have dissatisfaction, change has to occur. Now, change doesn't happen overnight. Change doesn't happen when you blink your eyes and then all of a sudden everything comes back to normal. No, change happens just like we took time to get to this. It's going to take another set of time to get out of this, right? And so part of what I think is taking place right now is that we see a shift that's taking place. People are trying to wrestle with this whole virtual world, virtual reality, augmented reality, cryptocurrency, right? I don't know anybody that actually has a coin of Bitcoin. Like actually be like, oh, this is my Bitcoin, right? I don't know anybody. What I do know is that you can go buy Bitcoin through the internet, through the web, and actually have Bitcoin in a digital wallet and say that you have X amount of coins in a platform, right? But it doesn't mean that you actually are holding anything in your hand, right? Virtual, digital. So if we're moving into that space as a world, as a humanitarian, uh, as humanity, right? If that is what's happening, then what are the things that we have to put in place? What type of lifestyle? What type of environment? What type of energy? What type of people do we need around us to be able to move from one stage to the next, right? One thing that 19 Keys said today, he said, and I loved it. He said he wanted to learn about crypto. So he said, so I needed to be, I needed to be what I wanted to be. I needed to be around what I wanted to be. So I'm around people that are in crypto. My environment is crypto, right? So his whole point was when you want something, when you want to understand something, or when you want to see yourself doing something, you have to surround yourself with that thing that you say you want. We know that environment is stronger than nature. So if I want to be financially stable, if I want to be spiritually grounded, if I want to be a better human being, whatever, right? If these are my goals, then everything around my current environment right now has to align with that. Otherwise, I won't ever be what I say I want to be. So if you want to be a spiritual human being, right? If you want to, listen, and I I realize when I say spiritual, like people get so like, well, no, I don't want to be spiritual or whatever, right? People have their own definitions of what these they think these things are. But if I want to be a better human being, right? If I want to be better than what I was yesterday, if I want to make sure that every single day I'm taking my vitamins, protein shakes, I'm working out 30 minutes a day, at least. I want to have positive thoughts. I want to read every day. If I want these things to happen, I have to assess my environment and the people that I'm around. And if I'm the only one in my group that wants this type of lifestyle, guess what's going to happen? I'm either going to fall victim to their energy or I'm going to have to leave them alone because environment is stronger than nature, right? Environment is stronger than heredity. So your environment begins to shape your thinking. I'm bringing it all the way back to let that mind be in you that is in Christ Jesus, right? Your mind has to be in an environment to foster the right thinking or the proper thinking or the goals that you say you want to achieve. So in order for us to get in tune with what the next level is, right? What the next level is, in order for us to know how to move and what we should be moving to, we have to find ourselves studying and being a part of an environment for the next level. Now, I say all that to say I don't know too many things about tokenomics. I don't know much about the stock market. Like, I can't give you financial advice. I can't tell you, oh, these 10 stocks is what you should get in. I, that's not me. What I am going to do and what I am good at is listening to those who are the experts to tell me what I should be doing. So my personal portfolio right now, and I'm just going to be 100 with y'all. And so this will live on my YouTube channel. People will see this from today all the way until whenever. I joined BWO last December. December will make a year. In less than a year, I'm be I'm being so real with y'all. In less than a year, I have actually created an investment. I've actually been able to save money. And y'all, I am not talking about thousands of dollars. Let me be very clear with y'all. You're talking to someone who couldn't save $5 because of my belief system. I had a belief system with money that allowed me to spend as just as soon as I got money, I spent my money. I had a belief system. And I talked about that in an Instagram video. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But I had a belief system that would not allow me to save money, just wouldn't. So in less than a year, y'all, listen to this, less than a year, I bought a house. I have stocks. I have crypto investments. I have a portfolio, a diversified portfolio. I have life insurance. What else? Don't be trying to come after me, y'all. But I have life insurance. I have, I guess that's the top. And I have a business. Oh, I've always had a business, but I've been able to scale up my business, right? This is all within a year. Excuse me, less than a year. Why am I telling you this? Am I bragging? No. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this for this one reason and one reason only. All of that was possible because I set myself in an environment of individuals that were thinking on the same wavelength, that had the same goals as I did. And I studied and stayed in this environment. And I have been able to produce things that I have not thought I could ever produce in such a short, limited time. So when I say to you that environment is stronger and more valuable and more impactful than your nature and heredity, that's a real thing, y'all. That is 100% real. So what I'm telling you as a witness is that when I began to study, and I'm not saying I'm the A student either. When I began to study, right, began to take classes and courses, financial classes, right, and then being in a Discord group and being able to have conversations with people, right, being able to ask questions about crypto, being able to ask questions about, well, what platform do you use, and being in that environment in less than a year, I've been able to accomplish some of my best financial goals ever. And not because I got a new job and so I'm making more money. No, literally, it's a mindset shift. And so that is what I'm offering, and that's what I'm just sharing with you all. We can bring anything into existence. Back to this whole infinity symbol in 19 keys, infinite wealth strategies is this class, this course. And the whole idea or the concept around that is that the mind is infinite. Our mind is infinite. And if our mind is infinite, then we don't have limitations. There's no barriers. There's no I can't, or there's no impossible. Everything is possible Everything is available once you align your mind to get to a certain goal to be able to achieve that, right? So if we believe that, you gotta, it starts with the belief. You have to believe that your mind is infinite. You have to believe that you can acquire and learn anything and everything that you want to learn. Infinite mindset. And if you have a belief system that your mind is infinite, then anything that you see, touch, hear, think about, you can bring into existence. That is a reality, y'all. And so what I'm telling you is that I didn't do anything different other than shifted my mindset. And in order for me to shift my mindset, I had to be in an environment with a like-minded people that supported the mindset so that I can reach the next level of growth. So we have to not be afraid of what we see happening in the world today. We can't be afraid of um, the metaverse. We can't be afraid of our children playing video games and having to focus for 7 hours, but you can't get them to sit down for two, right? Can't be afraid of that. That 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 is an example of where their mind is, and that Minecraft and that Roblox game and all of those games that they're playing was setting the ground for what we're moving into right now in terms of this metaverse, NFTs, digital world, all of that stuff, virtual realities, augmented realities, right? Holograms on steroids is what I call it, right? We were so impressed, my generation was so impressed with holograms. Y'all remember when I think it was when Tupac died and they put his hologram up at the Grammys or something. Y'all know. We were so impressed by the hologram. Man, that was like kids play, child's play to what really is happening now. So my point is this, like it doesn't mean you got to understand every aspect of it. I certainly don't. What I said before is that you have to be willing to put your ego aside and become a student of this world, student of life. So I don't know half the stuff of tokenomics and crypto and all that, but I know who does, right? So I study under those who spend more time in that field than I would. And then I can reap benefits because I know how to listen, I know how to take the information, and I know how to go apply it, right? I'm getting ready to have a consultation with another brother who knows more about NFTs and actually knows how to buy some of these altcoins easier than what I've learned, right? So I take my money and I'm going to invest not necessarily in him, although yes, I'll pay him for his service, but I'm investing in myself so I can learn the knowledge to be able to digest it, reap some benefit, and then maybe give it back to y'all, right? So I'm talking about a lot of points and a lot of like pieces of the main point, which is again, in order for us to want better in our lives, to do better in our lives, in order for us to um, not be in this state of depression or in this state of apathy and sickness, or like to have all of that change in you, it starts with setting up the right environment. This is why, and I'm going to share this with y'all, and then I'm going to be done. But this is why the church or any organized religion, right, that has a place of worship, a place for the congregants to go to fellowship. The reason why they do that, y'all, is not before for brainwashing, not because they want to indoctrinate you, although some do, but the system of that is to surround yourself in an environment that fosters the same alike mind, same thinking, same people, right? Because it feeds your soul, right? So there's a beauty in that concept. So you may not want to go to a church. You may not want to go to the mosque or the synagogue. Get it. But you have to treat that same concept with how you treat yourself in your life. So who are you around? Who are your friends? What are your friends talking about? When you finish your workday, what do? Right? Are you sitting up at the local lounge during happy hour, right? I'm putting myself in the mix in that. And are my conversations shallow, or am I actually talking about things that I want to grow with, right? Am I talking about things that are going to benefit my future self, right? So that's the same concept, y'all. We have to begin to really become scientists of our own lives if we want to make change, if we want something better, if we want to be better, if we want to acquire different things, if we want to go to the next level, right? If we want all those things, then we have to set ourselves up in a position, right, that allows us to have a growing, nurturing environment. It's just like children, right? When you're raising children from the infancy stage all the way up, you're making sure everything is safe, right? You're feeding them the right food. You're making sure they don't eat too much. Like you're doing all these things. Why do we think it stops when we become adults? It doesn't. So that same investment has to be, and that care has to be for our own bodies and our own mind. Our mind is the only thing that's infinite about us. The body will die, right? But that mind, the soul, the spirit is infinite. So we have to, as I said before, we have to make sure that we are working on creating an environment so that our thoughts can be brought into action. Thoughts have to be manifested, right? And in order for us to bring into existence those ideas that we have, those desires, those wants, those businesses, those ideas that will change the world, ideas that will change your world, in order for you to even bring that into existence, you've got to make sure you're nurturing it and putting yourself in the right environment. I woke up this morning thinking with this, and I am not the I want to make sure that I don't come across as the perfect or self-righteous human being, because that is not by any means. I'm confident because I know who I am, right? I'm confident because the God in me has let me know that I am a descendant of the creator. So there's a level of like pride that I have, knowing that I'm a blessing, and there were so many circumstances where my life could have been taken. I came into the world needing heart surgery. I came into the world having eye surgery. I came into the world with obstacles, and I fought like hell to be here. Clearly, right? So I don't want anyone to misread my passion or my pointing out things of the human behaviors or the human being as self righteousness, because it's not that by any means. But what I will say is that I know what it means to understand the God within. And so I want to carry myself as an example and as a testimony to be that for people, right? So that was my little disclaimer. But I woke up this morning and I said, I think people that are depressed, now mind you, I've suffered from depression. Okay. So I'm in this statement that I say. I said, I think people that suffer from depression just choose to be depressed. That was my thought. That was my thought. What y'all think about that? But that was my thought. I said, I think they just choose to be depressed. So, what did I mean by that, right? What was my point? My point was, you are what you think, right? I just realized I haven't had my name up here. People are like, who is this lady talking? I don't know if it's going to be there, but anyway, I realized you are what you think, right? So if you are what you think, then back to environment. If we're not putting ourselves in a better environment that produces a different thought, then we will only be what we think, right? We'll only be the lowest thought. So let me make it more plain. Do I know that people can be clinically depressed? Absolutely. Are there people that need medication for mental balance? Absolutely. So I'm not talking about the clinical diagnosis, although I could, but that's not the point I'm making. But you all have seen people, and I've been this person, that just wakes up every day and they're like, woe is me, right? Everything's bad. It's the worst day of their life and they just woke up. They brushed their teeth and they hate everything, right? So that is a thought process, right? That's a thinking that somebody has adopted. And then adopting that thinking has produced actions or inactions in their life. And over time, that creates a depressive state of mind, right? So I did wake up today and I said, I really think people just choose to be depressed. The opposite is true. People wake up and choose to be happy, right? So I'm only sharing this to say how powerful the mind is, right? Our mind is so powerful. If we think on a thing, we think on a word, we think on a feeling, we think on a thought, we will become that, knowingly or unknowingly. And this is why having the right environment, having the right people around you is so vital and so important, right? If you hang out with poor people, I'm just throwing poor in spirit, I ain't gonna say financially, but if you around people that are just always complaining and crying and you know all that, what what are you gonna be? You ain't gonna be no different, So that whole concept, I shared this with some young people. I said if you in a group of 5 friends, or you all heard the saying, show me your 5 friends, I show you your future, right? So if you around 5 people and they all are less than you, right? Have less than you, are let's say you got a mansion, but all the 5 people you hang out with live at home. Like at what point is the energy gonna be matched? It's not, y'all. And so sometimes we stay in a situation or we stay in an environment because it's comfortable, because we can rely on it. Um, it feels good, right? But the reality is, at some point over time, either one of those forces is going to win. And most likely, you're going to succumb to the friend group that has more energy, right? If you're the one person that's just doing something different, but that's your friend group, you're going to end up being like them. It ain't going to be the other way around. So, again, environment is way more important than heredity and nature, right? Doesn't mean that they don't play a part, but you're talking about what can shift that. What can shift what's in your nature is environment, right? Making sure you have yourself around in the right environment. So, what I encourage us all to do is really do a self audit, self assessment. Okay. And here's the questions I want you to ask yourself. Okay. The first question you have to ask yourself is, who am I? Who am I? Fill in the blank. I can't answer that for you. Okay. First question is, who am I? Okay. Second question that you have to ask yourself is, and it's all related to the first question. So once you define who am I, your second question is, what am I doing today to benefit who I said I was? Right. I'm gonna give you all an example. But once you say, who am I? Fill in the blank. Second question, what am I doing today to benefit what you said you were? Third question, what in my life do I need to remove or add that will benefit who am I? Right? That makes sense? So let me walk through. There's 3 questions. Just start there. That's self-assessment. So let me walk through this. Who am I? So I say my name is Imani Muhammad. I am uh, a descendant of God, and I am a bridge connector and a healer. Okay, let's just say that's my definition of who I am. Second question was, what do I have in my life to benefit? Right? Um, or excuse me, what am I doing today to help benefit who I am? Well, I wake up every day, I pray, I make sure I put minerals in my body, right? Some vitamin C, some sea moss, drink my coffee, right? I'm making choices every day to benefit my physical body, right? I make sure I clean my house every day. I make sure my son is fed, right? I make sure that I'm doing something to give back to the community, right? So these are things I'm thinking about when I ask the question, what am I doing today to benefit who I said I was, right? And then the third was, what do you need to remove or add to benefit who I said I was, right? So now, okay, man, I really need to not have so much sugar, maybe some ice cream in my house, right? Just giving an example. Um, Maybe I need to cut off some people, right? I need to remove some people from my life because they're really not supporting me in who I said I was. If I said I'm a healer, if I said I'm a God, descendant of God, if I said I wanted to support my community, well, I got that one friend that just ain't aligned with that. I probably need to cut that friend off, right? So that's just an example, y'all. Asking yourself those three questions. So I'm gonna recap it again. Who am I? This is your self assessment. Who am I? What am I doing today to benefit who I said I was? And then third, who do I need? What do I need to add or remove to benefit who I said I was? Okay, start there. And I guarantee you, y'all, when you start doing a self assessment of who you are every single day, you'll begin to make certain choices and do things differently because you're constantly putting who you are at the forefront. They say that women, and I can relate. They say women, well, probably men too, but they say women when they get married, right? They lose themselves in a marriage. What does that mean, right? And a lot of that is wrapped up in they spend so much time and energy pleasing their husband, right? That they kind of forget what they like. They forget who they are. And I think when I, when I experienced that, right? I was so busy um trying to be something that I wasn't because of the standard and the institution of marriage. And at the same time, in that, I almost lost the very thing that I love, right? Because I was getting caught up into this idea of the marriage or the partnership in the marriage and lost track of who I was, right? So I think if I had continued to ask myself, Imani, who are you? Who am I? And I continue to ask myself that in every day of that marriage, maybe I would have figured out that that wasn't the best thing to be a part of, or maybe I would have caught it sooner, right? No regrets, but I'm just saying, I think there's times in our lives that we lose focus. And I know what's benefited me is constantly doing a self assessment, constantly asking myself, okay, Monty, what are you doing? Okay, when you make this decision, is this helping you? What's happening? Like I literally do that. I overthink a lot, but it protects me, right? It's my discipline, and it also keeps me from not going too far left or too far right. Keeps me on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean? But I think it's important for us to constantly ask ourselves, who am I? Right? And when we're in that self-reflective space at all times, then our decision making, our choices, right, and actions will it will become more clear on what you should do and what you shouldn't do, right? And then you actually may be able to bring those ideas that you've thought about into fruition because you don't have all these distractions, right? Before I go off here, I want to say this, and I said this earlier. We are infinite. Our mind and our power that we have is infinite. We just have to tap into the belief that it is infinite. And then from there, from that space of belief, all things can come unto you. Like that, you got to have that belief first, right? That's why crypto right now, cryptocurrency is what it is. Because people believe in one coin or two or three or whatever it is. There's a belief system that is happening, right? People have concentrated their attention and a belief on a coin. Perfect example of how the mind works, how the mind of God works. It's a belief, right? People believe in what's that man? Elon Musk. right? He said something about Doge and whatever, and what happened? He made a comment, boom. He didn't make a comment, boom. Like all of that is playing off of the mind and the belief system of the human being. That's just an example of how the mind works. But guess what? You are the same, that same effect can be in your life. That same effect, that's what the law of attraction is, law of reciprocity, right? Law of you reap what you sow, right? That's the law, right? That is the same thing. Just imagine that if you concentrate your energy on your belief system, what could you produce? And that's the question on the table. So if you could harness all of your attention and your energy, if you could harness all of your atoms and molecules and your thoughts in your brain to benefit your personal belief system, whatever that is, how much more powerful would you be? How much more powerful could you be? Right? What could you acquire? What could you produce? And what would you attract? So that's my word for the day, y'all. I appreciate all of you that listen to this. Um, Man, it was good. It was good. So feel free to, do some shopping at travelingpillar.com. Stay connected for these kind of daily gems. Um, Text the word freedom to that number below. Stay connected. Sometimes I send my trades, my plays, and just positive energy and positive vibes. So stay connected with me. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Share this out with whoever. Um, but just make sure you do your self assessment. Assess yourself first. All right. I pray that everyone has a wonderful day. Peace and blessings.